Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're pulling apart something genuinely fascinating. It's this idea of bridging two worlds that often feel, well, miles apart.
Yeah, like classic power dynamics on one hand,
Right, the strategic maneuvering stuff.
and then this really expansive, almost philosophical belief in like unlimited potential on the other.
Exactly. So, we're doing a deep dive into excerpts from a source called Abundance, a reimagined power and wealth strategy.
And what's really interesting here is how it pulls from, foundational texts. We're talking Robert Greene's 48 Laws of Power, which lots of people know,
Often seen as pretty cutthroat.
and Wallace D. Wattles' The Science of Getting Rich, a classic on manifestation, really. But the key is it filters both through this core idea, the law of abundance.
Okay, so it's not just looking at power or abundance in isolation. It's about how they smash together and reshape each other. Our mission here really is to unpack how this abundance mindset fundamentally transforms those, let's say, traditional power strategies.
And what that actually means for how you might think about creating wealth or influence or even just success today.
Think of it as a kind of shortcut to understanding a really different way of thinking about power and prosperity. A pretty radical departure, maybe.
Definitely departs from the standard playbook.
Okay, let's unpack this then. The source puts this law of abundance right at the center, calls it the master principle.
Hmm.
So, how does just starting with this belief, the idea that there's genuinely more than enough success, enough opportunity for everyone, how does that change the game before you even talk strategy?
Well, the fundamental shift, I think, is moving away from scarcity. That's the big thing. Think about traditional power talk or even basic economics sometimes. There's often this assumption underneath it all.
That everything's limited.
Exactly. That resources, opportunities, influence, it's a finite pie. So if I get more, you inherently get less.
A zero-sum game.
Right. And that scarcity mindset, it naturally leads to, well, intense competition, secrecy, guarding what you have, that kind of thing.
Where you're constantly watching your back, protecting your little slice.
Precisely. And the abundance source argues that that belief itself is the main limitation. The law of abundance, as they define it, isn't just wishful thinking. It's this unwavering conviction that wealth, success, potential, they aren't fixed. They're constantly being created, available in vast supply.
So it's not about dividing the pie.
It's realizing you can bake, well, basically an infinite number of pies.
Yeah.
Or maybe the universe can.
Uh-huh. Okay.
And that belief, it fundamentally shifts the whole strategic foundation away from scarcity and competition towards what the source calls more ethical, empowered strategies for actually manifesting wealth and influence.
So the motivation changes. The why behind your actions is totally different. You're not trying to grab from a limited pool anymore.
You're trying to create within what you see as an expanding reality.
Yeah.
And this belief, according to the source, isn't just passive. It's the active principle shaping everything. So wealth creation stops being just about hoarding or outcompeting someone. It becomes the result of clear thought, purposeful action that's aligned with this abundance idea, and importantly, maintaining faith in that underlying principle.
Right.
And that just completely changes how power and influence are seen and used. They become tools, maybe, for creating win-win situations, fostering collaboration, building positive relationships.
Because you're not threatened if someone else does well.
Exactly. Their success doesn't diminish yours. It's just more evidence of the overall abundance available.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting for me. If you start with that abundance foundation, how does the source actually reinterpret specific, let's call them power laws, principles that, some people might see as pretty cynical or manipulative on their own? How does this lens change their meaning? Can we look at some examples they use?
Yeah, and this is crucial. The source isn't saying ignore strategic thinking. It's about transforming the application, the purpose, through that abundance lens. So take something like Law 3 in Greene's framework, often interpreted as conceal your intentions, or maybe even conceal your successes.
Right. Keep people guessing. Don't let them know what you're really up to or how well you're doing. Competitive edge.
That's the traditional take. Absolutely. Keep others off balance. But the abundance source reframes it. Okay, maybe you do conceal an individual success sometimes, but the reason changes. It's not about gaining a personal edge over someone. It might shift toward serving a bigger goal, like collective wealth, or promoting the overall vision of abundance for the whole group.
So you might downplay your own win.
to highlight how the system is working or how the team succeeded, reinforcing that idea that prosperity is shared and it's growing for everyone involved.
Wow, okay. That's a big shift in motivation. What about another one? Law 11. Traditionally, learn to keep people dependent on you.
Hmm.
I mean, in a scarcity world, that sounds pretty bad, like control, manipulation, make yourself indispensable so they can't function without you.
Yeah, that's the potentially dark side of it, isn't it? But this is where the abundance view really flips the script. The source argues this law, when reinterpreted, becomes about fostering value-based interdependence, not manipulative dependency.
Value-based interdependence. Okay, what does that mean practically?
It means instead of making people weak or helpless without you, you focus on creating systems or services or results that are so genuinely valuable
So good.
that people willingly and even gratefully rely on them because they benefit so much. Your influence then comes from being indispensable because of the extraordinary value you consistently provide.
Ah, so they depend on you because you're helping them thrive.
Precisely. The source argues that wealth just naturally follows when people rely on the value you bring, because you're adding to their abundance, which in turn contributes to the overall abundance you can also draw from.
Okay, like building an amazing platform that empowers millions. People depend on it, but it's because it genuinely helps them.
Exactly that. It's about creation, not control. It's a huge mindset shift.
It really is. Okay, how about Law 21? This one sounds tricky. Play a sucker to catch a sucker? I mean, that just sounds like deceit, right?
On the surface, yeah, it sounds terrible. But again, the abundance lens transforms it completely. It moves away from deceit entirely. It becomes more about a kind of humble acknowledgement of the abundance that's already around you, being so comfortable in that reality, so secure in the idea that there's enough for everyone, that you're okay if others underestimate you.
So you don't feel the need to constantly project strength or cunning.
Right. It's not a trick to trap someone.
Yeah.
It's presented as a form of quiet confidence, rooted in knowing there are plenty of opportunities. You don't need to scramble or deceive to get yours.
Interesting.
And this humility, this lack of pretense, the source suggests it can actually build more genuine relationships, attract opportunities naturally, because you're not putting out signals of threat or intense competition.
You're approaching things with more openness, authenticity.
Yeah, looking for collaboration, seeing others as potential partners in creating more abundance, not just, marks in a zero-sum game.
So appearing maybe less aggressive isn't a weakness if you genuinely believe there's enough opportunity out there. Okay, one more. Law 43. Work on the hearts and minds of others. How does abundance color that one?
This one is really key to the source's whole argument for why this blend works so well. Reinterpreted, working on hearts and minds isn't about manipulation. It's about fostering an abundance mindset in other people too.
Ah, helping them see the bigger picture.
Exactly. You're trying to align their own desires for success and wealth with this broader idea of collective prosperity. So you motivate people not through fear or making them feel scarce, but by appealing to their values, building real trust, creating meaningful connections. The source really emphasizes that genuinely caring about other people's success, building that trust, creating win-win situations, that's precisely what opens doors for your own prosperity.
So it's the mechanism itself.
It is. By helping others thrive, showing them maybe a path towards their own abundance, you create this network. Mutually beneficial relationships, opportunities, that feeds back into your own success. It's not manipulation, it's inspiration. Co-creation.
What really stands out to me listening to these examples is this consistent theme. The emphasis shifts so dramatically. It's all towards like authenticity, empathy, creating real value, collaboration. Strategy is still there. You're still thinking strategically, but it's framed as ethical action, aimed at building lasting, positive relationships, aimed at win-win outcomes, not just personal wins that come at someone else's expense.
Yeah, and flexibility and creativity become really important too.
Yeah.
Because you're constantly exploring new ways to create value, not just sticking to rigid tactics designed to grab a slice of a supposedly fixed pie.
You're working with the flow, not against others.
That's a good way to put it. The belief in abundance changes the whole energy, the direction of your efforts. You're collaborating with that current of abundance, rather than fighting others to hoard from a small trickle.
Okay, so let's nail this down. What does this all mean in practice, according to the source? How does this specific combination, the abundance mindset, plus these reinterpreted power ideas actually lead to influence, wealth, respect? What's the proposed mechanism?
Well, the core argument is that this blend creates a uniquely powerful but also sustainable path Unlike, say, purely scarcity-driven methods, which might get you short-term wins but tend to erode trust and create opposition.
Right, you burn bridges.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This approach builds influence and wealth by creating value that genuinely benefits other people, by fostering cooperation, by maintaining integrity. The mechanism really is that by contributing to the overall field of abundance, you kind of align yourself with its natural flow. When you operate from that belief, that deep belief that there is more than enough, you're just less likely to do things that limit potential, your own or other people's. And by building trust, by actively helping others succeed, you cultivate this network, a network of support, of reciprocal opportunity. And that's far more resilient, far more expansive in the long run than any gains you might make through pure control or zero-sum competition.
So respect comes not just for what you achieve.
But how you achieve it, by creating value, by empowering others, it leads to a kind of sustainable success where influence and wealth are almost like natural byproducts of your contribution and collaboration.
Okay, let's bring it back to you, the listener. Why is digging into this perspective important? How could understanding this blend, this abundance plus strategy idea, actually change how you approach things? You know, whether you're getting ready for a big meeting or trying to learn a complex new skill, or even just dealing with the sheer amount of information coming at us daily.
Well, the source suggests that adopting this kind of lens can shift quite a lot. How you perceive competition in your field, maybe. How you negotiate. How you build a team. Even just how you approach learning itself.
How so with learning?
Instead of seeing, say, a complex new topic as this limited territory you have to conquer before anyone else,
Yeah, I gotta master it first.
you might see the vast abundance of information out there, the numerous resources, the potential for collaborative learning, maybe sharing insights, benefits everyone, including you. It might help you, as the source suggests, gain knowledge effectively without feeling overwhelmed because you're focused on connection and contribution, not just hoarding facts.
Right.
It just offers a different angle on gaining influence, achieving your goals, one that's rooted more in contribution and collaboration rather than just outperforming or controlling others.
It sounds like recognizing that helping others succeed might actually be the fastest way to expand your own potential and opportunities.
That's a core part of the message, yes,
Mm.
precisely.
Okay, so we've taken a pretty deep dive today into how this source suggests integrating the law of abundance with strategic principles, drawing from thinkers like Green and Wattles, can radically reimagine the path to success, moving away from that scarcity-driven competition towards something more like ethical, collaborative prosperity.
Yeah, it's a framework that fundamentally suggests that true, lasting wealth and influence don't come from just taking a bigger slice of a pie you assume is limited. Instead, it comes from focusing your energy on helping the entire pie grow
Yeah.
endlessly, knowing that you're part of that expansion and benefit from it.
Right. So here's a final thought for you to chew on, pulled straight from the heart of today's source material. How does truly believing, like deep down, that there is genuinely more than enough potential, enough success, enough wealth for everyone, how does that fundamentally shift your personal definition of success?
Yeah, and how you view competition, how you interact with the world day to day.
What's maybe one specific aspect of your current approach? Could be in work, could be in learning, relationships. What's one thing you might reconsider through this abundance lens?
Something to ponder, definitely, as you navigate your own path forward.